What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to be jumping in with a guide on how to complete the void configuration puzzle inside of the heroic 0-hour mission. And very much like the Whisper of the Worm quest, this will be a way to get additional catalyst progress for the Outbreak Prime, or the Outbreak Perfected. Man, I'm never going to get that into my head. But on top of this, it will also land you a ship schematic for what appears to be an upcoming exotic ship. But heads up guys, this is a pretty lengthy puzzle. It will require the heroic version of the mission, a little bit of teamwork and coordination as well, so I'll explain it in this video, and without further delay, let's jump straight into it. Now before we talk any more about what we actually have to do here, massive shout out to the Destiny community and to everyone who's been involved in actually figuring this stuff out. This is one of those situations where so many people have kind of amassed information and contributed to this that it's pretty hard to really directly shout anyone out. There are a few Reddit threads and shout outs that we'll talk about throughout this video though. And gotta give a massive shout out to Math Class, who really started the process of compiling a lot of this stuff into a spreadsheet, ultimately actually making this achievable, so huge shout out to them guys as well. But let's speak about how you can pick up this kind of mini quest puzzle, how to complete it, what the rewards are, and how they will unlock over time. So first up, in order to actually activate the Void Configuration quest inside of the mission, you will have to complete the Outbreak Perfected quest itself, and once you've got that, the heroic version of the mission will become available, and you will need to get a clear inside of the heroic version before the quest item will show up on the map. Once you've done that, you can make another heroic run, and you'll find the Void Configuration item on the shelf in the left-hand side of the first room with enemies in it. So you can go ahead and pick this up, and it's worth saying that you can use the kind of time glitch cheese thing if you want to in order to do this. It was something that was actually used an awful lot in order for folks to figure this out. Either way, once you've picked up the Void Configuration item, you need to carry on and progress through the mission, and there are some key cards that you'll need to collect. So kill all of the enemies in the first 3 areas, and then after you've dropped down the elevator shaft, you will get to the area called Passage. Here, in the heroic version, you will need to go to the right hand side, head over to the vent, and you'll drop down into this room right here. Now the first key card that you'll need is actually under this little walkway. You can go underneath, shoot out the vent, and you'll find that blue keycard at the very end of the vent. Then you'll need to continue through the heroic version in the normal way until you get to just before the main jumping puzzle on the outer side of the wall. I will link a video down below that has a better guide to the heroic version, but the next keycard will be before the first jumping puzzle on the outer side of the wall. So once you've been through the passageway with the 3 red pipes, head immediately to the right hand side, and under the walkway here, you can once again head underneath, and this is where you'll get the green keycard. Now the final keycard that you'll need is actually at the other end of the jumping puzzle. So as soon as you go back inside of the wall right here, you head to the left, head to this little nook on the right, and there will be kind of a vent opening with the red key card. So now you've got all 3 of the key cards activated on the configuration quest, and the next part will actually take place in the kind of vault room after all the fans and the maze and all that stuff. And of course, to get into the vault room, you have to take a particular route on the floor, so you can see that route right here, but this is where things certainly get interesting. And a massive shout out to the community for figuring all of this stuff out. Many people have been involved in figuring out how we can do this week. And there is a post by Aaron MT that rounds up pretty much all of the information you need to do this, but for an explanation of what you do for this final step. So you'll be in the vault room, and there are 3 different consoles inside of this room. So the first one is at the back left-hand side of the room right here. Console 2 is on the right-hand side of the room, but near the front where you walk in, and then console 3 is on the left-hand side. Once again, that's immediately after the entrance. Now, you'll actually have to start a sequence, and this can be done from the left-hand side console. And what's going to happen is that 2 numbers will show up on each of the consoles. Now for the void configuration, we only have to worry about console 1 as well as console 3. And for console 1, you'll need 2 numbers, so you need the left and the right dial, but specifically for this void configuration, for console 3, whenever it's needed, you'll only need the left dial. This will make more sense when I explain the calculator in just a moment, but you will need at least 2 players down here, 1 to monitor console 1, 1 to monitor console 3, and you can kind of decide between yourselves who's going to activate which nodes, and we'll explain more of that in a moment. And what's going to happen is the 2 segments of the round dials that we can see on these consoles are going to light up, and the segments actually work essentially like a clock. So if you go clockwise from the top, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and obviously that goes all the way up to 12. And this is how you'll know which numbers are being called out by the consoles. And what it will actually give you is 2 numbers that you'll need to call out. One will be on the left dial and one will be on the right dial. And remember, we're only working with console 1 and console 3, so essentially the two left-hand side consoles. And somebody has actually uploaded a solver for this, which I'll link down below, and you can use this to input the numbers that you're given by the dials. And we're going to have to refer to this diagram right here. Once again, this is from the Reddit post from Aaron, but we can see that there are a series of rooms in the vault itself. And these have actually been given colors, so the room at the back left is green, the next one along on the left is white, the next one yellow, and front left is red. Then we can see on the right hand side, we've got purple, blue, and then this kind of cyan blue. Now each of these is actually kind of a small room with a series of different nodes that you can interact with. There are 7 nodes in each of the rooms, and we can see how they're labeled right here. So the back right is 1, the front right is 2, 3, 4, and 5 are in the middle cluster going clockwise, and then we have 6 on the back left and 7 on the front left. And so to finally kind of make a little bit of sense of what this means, and we'll be using the calculator for this. So if we activate the sequence, for example, and on console 1, we get number 8 lit up on the left and number 6 lit up on the right, we can put those into the calculator, and then terminal 3 at the same time we can see has 12, and if we add this to the calculator, it's going to give us yellow 5. And what this means is that you need to go to the 5th node in the yellow room. So looking back at that map, we can see the yellow room on the left-hand side, and the 5th node is inside of that middle cluster of nodes inside of yellow room. So now you can run over and lock this in at that node. After this, the consoles will come up with a different code. So if we go back to console 1, this time, for example, if 3 and 3 are both lit up on the console, if you take this to the calculator, it actually won't require the number for terminal 3. This is kind of random depending on which one it is, and it will grey out if it's not necessary, but we can see either way that it's given us green 7. So now we've got to head over to the green room to the 7th node, which once again is on our front left. So to recap, you're going to be using console 1 as well as console 3 for the void configuration. The segments on the dial of each console will light up, you'll have to count around, and that will give you the numbers that you need, but you will have to do this a total of something like 20 times. And so yeah, that cheese may be useful, but of course you will need 2 people on the consoles and kind of managing the nodes inside of the rooms. So I was on console 1 and I was dealing with the green, white, and purple rooms, and then my friend Jarv was on console 3 and he was dealing with all of the other rooms in that backside of the vault. Something else to point out about this though is that as you input all of these codes, outside of the mission time limit, it doesn't appear that there is actually a timer limit for how long it takes you to calculate which node you need to activate and to actually go activate it, right? So except for the mission timer, there is no kind of reset timer or anything like that for this. Either way, once you do all of the requested sequences, this is when you'll get the ship schematic dropped, and you'll also get some additional progress for the Outbreak catalyst, which will take you up to 33%, meaning that if you can do each configuration, because yes, there will also be an arc and a solar configuration, and these will probably roll out on different weeks. Either way, if you can do all of this, you'll get the Outbreak catalyst in 3 weeks as opposed to 5, and you'll get the schematic for the ship, which will eventually drop this new Siva-themed ship, presumably, once all configurations have been done. So yeah, that is how you get the schematic for now. Let us know your thoughts about it down below. It certainly sounds pretty complicated, and it's definitely not, you know, a walk in the park, but it also probably isn't quite as bad as it first sounds either. Especially bear in mind that you can do that cheese with the timer, and that's what most people have been doing. As for the reward, I kind of outline right here, and this is very similar to what we had with the Whisper quest. It certainly doesn't look like the original Nano Phoenix. It actually looks pretty similar to some of the ship models in D2, but presumably it will be a pretty unique ship in terms of modifications to it, you know, probably have a Siva theme and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, for now, that pretty much breaks down how all of this works, guys. I will link the appropriate Reddit threads down below. And like I said, there are a lot of people who've actually worked on figuring this out and making the tools, making the spreadsheets and all of that kind of stuff to actually disperse this information. So obviously from me, but also as a community, thank you to everyone who's been involved in kind of figuring this out. And because there are a lot of different sources which aren't always named or linked to, if you have worked on any of this stuff, definitely let us know in the comment section and I'll add any credits that are necessary. But guys, let us know down below if you're going to jump in and try this, or if you've managed to pull it off. I will keep you posted on future sequences, but bear in mind, that calculator that we're using right here does look like it's going to be updated for the future arc and solar variations, and presumably that will be happening week over week. But guys, if you have enjoyed this video, a like below is very much appreciated. If you have any questions about this stuff, be sure to drop them in the comment section below, and we can all do our best to help each other out down there. But if you're new to the channel and you want to keep posted on Destiny content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, and I'll keep you up to date with everything related to the game. Otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and whatever you get up to, I hope you guys have an awesome day.